Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're going to explore a case file that's a little different. It's one that really sticks with you, even now. It reminds us that sometimes the most terrifying things aren't out there in the unknown, but right here, inside us, the darkness within the human heart.
Yeah, it's a chilling thought, isn't it? We're taking a look at Irresistible, episode 13 from the second season of The X-Files.
Aired back in January of '95, and we've gone through everything from the episode itself to some really interesting behind-the-scenes stuff. And what makes this one stand out is, well, it's not your typical X-Files fare. You know, no aliens, no government conspiracies. This is a story about human darkness, human evil. And that makes it, in a way, even more disturbing.
Exactly. It's one of those Monster of the Week episodes, a standalone story. And it really gets under your skin because it focuses on that sinister potential that we all have inside us. You know, the capacity for evil that can be lurking in seemingly ordinary people.
So where do we begin with this unsettling tale? It all starts in Minneapolis at a funeral. A young woman named Jennifer has passed, and everything seems, well, normal, until the funeral director makes a disturbing discovery.
The opening scene is interesting. It starts so normal, right? You see the funeral, people mourning, and there's this guy just kind of observing everything. He seems ordinary, nondescript, and then boom, the funeral director finds Jennifer's hair has been cut. Crudely cut. It's such a violation, right? Immediately, you know something's deeply wrong.
And that guy, the observer, turns out to be Donnie Pfaster. He's an assistant at the funeral home. When they question him about the hair, his answers are, well, suspicious. So he's fired, obviously. But nobody knows at this point just how dark things are going to get.
Right. And the story shifts to our favorite FBI agents. Mulder and Scully get called in by Agent Mo Box. Another grave's been disturbed, a body desecrated. And right away, there's this interesting moment where Mulder, who usually jumps at the chance to suspect aliens, just dismisses it. He's certain this is the work of a human, not some extraterrestrial being.
Yeah, and that sets the tone, doesn't it? As they investigate, the pattern becomes clear. More bodies, all with the same disturbing signs. Haircut, fingernails removed, is gruesome. Mulder, you know, with his knack for profiling, he describes Pfaster as this escalating fetishist, meaning his desires, his urges, they're getting stronger, more extreme. And even Scully, who's usually so composed, she's clearly shaken. She even writes a whole report about necrophilia, trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah, Scully's really wrestling with this case.
Yeah.
You can see it. She's trying to apply her scientific mind to something that's just, well, it's deeply disturbing. And that report, it shows just how much this case is getting to her. It's not just about the facts, it's affecting her on a personal level.
And Pfaster, meanwhile, his actions get even more twisted. There's a scene with the sex worker. He asks her to bathe in his apartment, which seems odd enough, but then she finds all these funeral wreaths. Stolen funeral wreaths. It's so creepy, right? This bizarre ritualistic behavior.
It's really unsettling. And what's striking is that Pfaster seems so normal on the surface. Like he even takes a phone call about a new job while this woman's bathing surrounded by funeral wreaths. The contrast is just, well, chilling. And of course, later, they find her body, haircut, fingers missing. The pattern's confirmed.
And even though things are getting pretty horrific, Scully tells Mulder she's fine, she can handle it. Pfaster, meanwhile, he gets a job as a delivery driver. Seems harmless enough, right? But this gives him access to people's homes, and he becomes fixated on this young woman, even stealing her hair from the trash. It's these little details that make it so creepy, so real.
Absolutely. That hair stealing thing, that's a big red flag. It shows he's not just interested in the dead anymore. He's targeting the living. Things are escalating.
And then there's this frustrating setback. They bring in a friend of one of the victims for a lineup, but she doesn't identify Pfaster, and Mulder realizes this guy probably has no criminal record. He's a ghost.
It's a nightmare for law enforcement, right? No history, no trace. It makes him so much harder to catch.
But then Pfaster's urges get the better of him. He's taking this night class, and he becomes obsessed with a classmate's hair, tries to attack her. But she fights back, and he's arrested. It's a close call, but at least they finally have him.
Yeah, that attack is a turning point. It's the first time he's been caught. Even if it's only temporary, it gives them a lead, a connection.
Now here's where things get really unsettling. Scully's doing the autopsy on the latest victim, and she has this vision. It's quick, but she sees herself on the autopsy table and this shadowy figure looking down at her. It's like a premonition, a glimpse into her own fear. Then they get a call about the suspect, but when they go to question him, guess what? Pfaster is in the next cell, and he's staring at Scully, obsessed with her hair. He even learns her name. Mulder's worried, but Scully insists on being the one to transport the body back to Washington for analysis. She wants to be in control, you know. But then the worst happens. The classmate refuses to press charges, and Pfaster is released.
That vision Scully has, it's so disturbing. It's like a manifestation of her growing anxiety, her fear. And Pfaster fixating on her, it's terrifying. It's like he's marking her, setting her up as his next target.
Back in Washington, Scully goes to see a social worker. She's clearly shaken, She admits she's anxious, but she doesn't want Mulder to treat her like she needs protecting. It's a rare moment of vulnerability for her. Meanwhile, there's a break in the case. A fingerprint from the prostitute's body matches Pfaster's prints from his arrest. Finally, they have something concrete. They raid his apartment, and it's a horror show. They find hair, human hair, and one of the prostitute's fingers in his fridge.
It's just sickening, isn't it? That discovery confirms everything they feared about him, but it's too late. He's already gone.
Scully's back in Minneapolis now, totally unaware of the danger. And Pfaster, he's been following her. He runs her car off the road, abducts her. It's terrifying. Mulder and Box find her abandoned car, but there's no sign of her. Pfaster takes her to his dead mother's house, this creepy abandoned place. He ties her up, locks her in a closet. He's getting ready to give her a bath. It's all so ritualistic, so disturbing. And then there's this moment where Scully has another vision. This time, she sees Pfaster changing, morphing into something monstrous. It's like her fear is taking shape.
That abduction scene is just so intense. And the location, his mother's house, it adds this whole other layer of creepiness, It hints at his past, his messed up psychology. And that vision of him transforming, it shows how deeply traumatized Scully is. Her reality is blurring with her worst fears.
Scully knows what he's planning, and she's not going down without a fight. She manages to shove Pfaster into the bathtub, tries to escape, but the house is locked up tight, every door, every window. Pfaster gets her gun and starts hunting her through the house. It's like a nightmare. Meanwhile, Mulder and Box, they've been analyzing the paint from Scully's car, and it leads them right to Pfaster's mother's house. They arrive just in time. Scully's cornered, terrified. She grabs a can of tile cleaner and sprays Pfaster with it. They struggle, and they both fall down the stairs. Just then, Mulder and Box break in. They arrest Pfaster, but the ordeal has taken its toll on Scully. She breaks down, completely falls apart in Mulder's arms.
It's such a relief when Mulder and Box arrive, isn't it? But seeing Scully break down like that, it's heartbreaking. She's been through so much. It shows the human cost of facing this kind of darkness.
The episode ends with Mulder writing his report, and his words are chilling. He says Pfaster is like pure evil, human evil. And he speculates, and this is controversial, that maybe his twisted nature stems from being raised in a predominantly female household. It's a disturbing thought. Mulder ends by saying that ordinary people can harbor such darkness, that what happened to Scully, to all the victims, is a reminder that none of us are immune to this kind of evil.
That closing narration is really powerful. It forces us to confront the idea that evil can exist anywhere, in anyone. It's a terrifying thought, but it's something we have to consider.
So that's the story of Irresistible. But there's a whole other layer to this episode, a behind-the-scenes story that's just as fascinating. And it starts with Chris Carter, the show's creator. This episode actually had a big impact on his career.
It's true. Irresistible, with its focus on a human serial killer, it inspired Chris Carter to create another show, Millennium. It explored similar themes, the dark side of humanity, the nature of evil. You can see the connection.
And there's this subtle reference to a real-life killer in the episode. When Agent Box mentions that kid from Wisconsin, he's talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. It's a chilling reminder that the horror in this episode, it's not just fiction. It reflects a very real and very disturbing part of our world.
That Dahmer reference, it grounds the story in reality. It's a reminder that monsters do exist.
Here's a little detail for you to look out for. Throughout the episode, pay attention to the clocks. You'll notice that Scully gets that fateful call from Mulder at exactly 11:21 p.m. And that same time appears in other key X-Files episodes, like the pilot and the season 1 finale. It's a recurring motif, and fans have debated its meaning for years. It adds to the mystery,
Yeah, those recurring motifs, they're like little clues, little connections between different parts of the story. It makes you wonder if there's a deeper meaning, something hidden beneath the surface.
It might surprise you to learn that Irresistible is one of Chris Carter's favorite episodes. Kind of unsettling, considering how dark it is, right? But I think it speaks to how effective it is at exploring a different kind of horror.
I think Carter was drawn to the episode because it proved that the X-Files could be terrifying without relying on the paranormal. It showed the power of human darkness, of psychological horror.
And for those who love a good Easter egg, there's a fun one in this episode. In one scene, you can see an FBI agent watching a football game in the background, and the receiver who makes the play, Chris Carter. Same name as the show's creator. It's a little wink, a bit of humor amidst all the darkness.
Those little Easter eggs are fun, aren't they? They're like a little secret between the creators and the fans.
Now, even though Irresistible didn't have any aliens or monsters in the traditional sense, it was a huge hit with viewers. It got almost 15 million viewers when it first aired, making it one of the most watched episodes of season 2. It shows that people are drawn to these dark psychological stories. They're compelling, even if they're unsettling.
It's true. Sometimes the most terrifying stories are the ones that reflect our own reality, our own potential for darkness.
And if you thought Donnie Pfaster was a truly memorable villain, well, he's not done yet. He actually comes back in a later episode, Orison, from season 7. It's another chance to explore his twisted mind and the lasting impact he has on Scully.
Pfaster's return in Orison allows the show to delve even deeper into the themes of trauma and recovery. It's a testament to the power of that character that he continues to haunt the X-Files universe.
As we've seen, Irresistible is unique in the X-Files world. It's one of the few episodes that completely avoids the paranormal, focusing instead on psychological horror. It's a bold choice, and it really works.
By focusing on the human element, the episode achieves a different kind of realism. It taps into our primal fears, the things that scare us on a deeper level. The idea that anyone, even someone who seems ordinary, could be capable of such darkness.
And the episode doesn't shy away from the consequences of that darkness. It shows how trauma can affect people, how it can linger long after the event. We see Scully struggling with PTSD after her abduction, and it adds a whole other layer to her character to the story.
That's one of the things that makes the X-Files so great. It's not just about the monsters and aliens. It's about the characters, their struggles, their humanity.
Now, here's a bit of trivia for you. The original script for Irresistible was even darker than what we saw on screen. Chris Carter originally wanted Pfaster to be a necrophiliac. But Fox, the network, they thought that was too much. Too disturbing for broadcast, so they had to tone it down, and Pfaster became more of a death fetishist. Still creepy, but not as explicit.
It's interesting to see how network standards influence the creative process.
Yeah.
Even though they had to make changes, the episode still managed to be incredibly disturbing and effective.
The original title for the episode was different too. It was called Fascination, which in a way is even more unsettling, right? It speaks to that morbid curiosity, that pull towards the dark side that some people have.
That title, Fascination, it captures the essence of the episode, doesn't it? It's about that strange attraction to death, to the macabre.
Chris Carter has said that he wanted this episode to explore a very specific fear. The fear of dying helplessly at the hands of another person. It's a primal fear, one that we all share on some level.
And that's what makes Irresistible so effective. It taps into our deepest fears, the things that keep us up at night. It's not about ghosts or aliens. It's about the very real threat of human violence.
Remember that scene where Scully sees Pfaster morphing, becoming monstrous? That was actually inspired by real-life accounts of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims. Some of them claim that he seemed to transform, to become something inhuman. It's a chilling detail that adds another layer of realism to the horror.
That connection to real-life events makes the episode even more disturbing. It blurs the lines between fiction and reality, and it reminds us that these kinds of horrors do happen.
David Nutter, the director, he said that he wanted the episode to show that true terror doesn't always come from the supernatural. It can come from the person next door, from someone who seems perfectly ordinary.
It's a chilling thought, isn't it? That the most dangerous monsters might not be the ones we expect. They could be hiding in plain sight.
Chris Carter and Glenn Morgan, the producer, they were both really impressed with Nick Chinlund's performance as Pfaster. They said he was perfectly creepy, that he had this unsettling, androgynous quality that made him even more disturbing.
Chinlund's performance is definitely one of the highlights of the episode. He manages to be both charming and menacing, and that makes him truly terrifying.
Nutter agreed. He said that Chinlund was perfect for the role because he was able to convey that underlying strangeness, that sense of otherness that made Pfaster so unsettling.
It's the little things, isn't it? The way he moves, the way he looks at people, it all adds to the creep factor.
Nutter also pointed out that this episode was important for showing Scully's PTSD after her abduction by Dwayne Barry. It gave them a chance to explore the lasting effects of trauma, how it can continue to haunt you.
It's a reminder that trauma doesn't just go away. It can stay with you, and it can shape the way you see the world.
Chris Carter talked about the ending of the episode, that moment where Scully hugs Mulder after her rescue. He said it was a rare moment of tenderness between them, especially at that point in the series. And it showed just how deeply this case had affected them both.
The powerful moment, isn't it? It shows the bond between them, the way they rely on each other for support in the face of darkness.
Irresistible got really positive reviews from critics. Entertainment Weekly, the AV Club, TV Guide, they all praised the episode, especially Chinlan's performance. They said it was effective, unsettling, and thought-provoking.
The critical acclaim just proves how powerful Irresistible is. It's a standout episode, not just in the X-Files, but in television history. It's a masterpiece of psychological horror.
And Chris Carter, he said that he thinks Irresistible was so successful because it was really scary. And he was right. It's an episode that stays with you long after you've seen it. It's a reminder that the most terrifying things aren't always out there in the unknown, but right here, inside us.
That's a chilling thought to end on, isn't it? But it's a truth we can't ignore. The darkness is real, and it's closer than we think.
Well, that's our deep dive into Irresistible. It's an episode that makes you think, that makes you question the nature of evil and the darkness that exists in the human heart.
Yeah, it's definitely an episode that stays with you. It makes you wonder, what's lurking beneath the surface of the people we meet every day? What secrets are they hiding? What darkness are they capable of?
It's a question worth pondering, and it's a reminder to be careful, to be aware, and to never underestimate the power of the human mind for both good and evil. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the dark side of the X-Files.